Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nerdlings of all ages, we're coming down to a deciding game between these two titans of the European scene. Spawning first in the bottom right-hand corner, representing Team Liquid.net. He is indeed the Zerg player you all know and love, a longtime player and recent resurgence in form. Can he take game number 3? It is the little one, TLO. His opponent, spawning in the bottom left-hand position as the blue Protoss player, winning an absolutely incredible game number 1 with his mass recall Dark Templar play. It was a really good sight to watch, but then sadly losing in that very critical engagement in game number 2 to those Banelings when that Zealot wall was completely unprotected. What will he do here in game number 3? Representing NRS, we have WELMU.
So, this map is all about the amount of dead space and the short by air distance, in my opinion. It's what defines it. But the other big thing for TLO is the fact that actually his third base, he has 2 options. He can either take the third close to his natural and main, but then have some awkward choky positions where actually WELMU could try to exploit it, or he can expand directly north of his natural, and that's just a bit far away. So we'll wait to see what he does, but for the moment WELMU switching up his build from game 1 and 2, not going for that forge expand, but instead going for the gateway, going for the gas.
Yeah, so he's definitely got a different strategy in mind for this game, and I just looked at the minimap and something blew my mind, Battles. This map looks like a GameCube controller.
I just realized no one can see me, but my jaw literally just dropped.
Does it not? Like with the 2 bits coming out the bottom as well? Oh my god.
It is. And you've got like the top 2 bases are like the
L and R buttons because they stick out a bit on the controller as well.
You, sir, are a genius, and somebody who has Photoshop skills should Reddit a picture of this. I'm sorry, it should be done. Give all credit to John though, because
no one tell Nintendo a lawsuit's going to get involved. This is scary.
I don't know. If it was Apple, maybe. If it looked like an iPhone, then there'd definitely be a lawsuit involved. But Nintendo, I don't...
There's one sensor tower at the bottom. That's just like our button. We're suing the crap out of you. I could see that happening, man.
I mean, the minimap square, it's so much like an iPad. Doesn't it remind you of an iPad right now? Like, square. Like, no. It has rounded corners.
Please, no. Wait, does it? The minimap doesn't have rounded corners.
One corner is a bit rounded. Well, it's like a squared off. It's like a squared off round.
But the point is, don't sue us. We're completely fine.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, guys, switching it up, of course, in terms of build this time around, WELMU, of course, going for that gate and then grabbing the gas in his main base. He has now put down, though, his natural expansion, and TLO has seen this. He also notes that there is a lack of a forge at the natural expansion. He has yet to scout the main base, though.
So, not much to talk about in terms of strategy so far. The only thing for TLO is that he did correctly identify that it's not a forge fast expansion, therefore got a few more units out, not going to rush his third, and as such, he's just got to hold off this little bit of pressure, which he's easily going to do. Nearly getting surrounded on the Zealot. Will he manage to catch it? No, not quite yet. WELMU with the ninja skills on that Zealot, getting right between those 2 mineral patches, which will allow it to trade very cost effectively, and with the Stalker coming in as well, TLO is still going to have to deal with the threat of a Zealot and Stalker.
Oh, and going up to 3 gateways now as well, in addition to the Mothership core. So I think WELMU is indeed going to be piling on the early game pressure just a little bit here. Meanwhile, TLO staying on 2 bases for the time being. He did not scout the forge. His Overlord still isn't going back in to see what else is there. But he's not 100% confident he knows what WELMU is doing right now, which is why he's erring just a little bit over the timing of his third.
And that's the smart thing to do, is you want to be able to adjust your build, make sure that you are adapting to what your opponent's doing. And we've seen that TLO is already very capable of doing that in Game 2. He adapted to that 4-gate, Blink, Stalker, Mothership Core, harassment to his third, and which arguably made him lose Game 1, and therefore really WELMU now is having to switch it up, and he is doing so, but to what effect? That's what we're already going to look for. TLO loses an Overlord there, that temporarily supply blocks him, but I'd say things pretty even at this stage of the game.
Yeah, only just losing that Overlord as well. I mean, TLO must have thought he could have gotten out of there with maybe 1 or 2 hits left on it, but miscalculating very, very slightly there. And that supply blocks him for about 20 in-game seconds, which will be slightly frustrating. But in the meantime, back home, on the back of that layer, he's getting an Overseer for a bit more scouting, and has gone up to Spire Tech, which has just got put down in his main base.
This is a good choice. Mutas on this map are fantastic, and in Heart of the Swarm with the increased health regeneration, they are very strong. Those Zerglings managing to spot a probe. So are they gonna spot the proxy pylon? They do see it. So now this should give TLO a bit of an indicator of what could be coming. He's chucking down some spine crawlers, ready for a good defense. Still on 2 bases though to WELMU's 2 bases. So that's economically putting WELMU slightly ahead for the time being. But as long as TLO does defend this and deal good damage with his mutas, he should be fine.
Well, we'll wait and see, because WELMU now is pushing out towards the natural expansion of TLO. He's making a lot of spine crawlers right now because his Spire is still 25 seconds away from completion. Guardian Shield goes up. The first spine crawler is going to go down like someone just flipped a toilet seat. That was easy peasy, but fortunately, another 3 pop up just in time. Not too many Stalkers behind here to really deal the damage while the Zealots soak it up. And the nearest forward pylon isn't actually that close, so WELMU's going to have to move back for now.
So WELMU arguably looked to be in a solid spot, but now getting surrounded by some speedlings, but TLO does not have enough to deal with that directly. So therefore being a little bit more careful, running back, maybe going to go for some counter aggression, but TLO arguably a little bit lucky with those spines finishing up precisely when required, but the first mutas are on their way. A push up into the natural base though, and it looks like WELMU just going to go straight for the main. Force fields at the natural. The mutas are on their way, but will it be enough? We will wait to see. The Spire spotted. Jorasar, this living counterattack is not getting in WELMU's base.
Yeah, this is really difficult right now for TLO. He needs to count on these 7 Mutalisks. Don't forget, there's enough energy for mass recall. No doubt that's going to be used shortly. The mutas now pop. Only a single Stalker here, and the Mothership Core is being targeted out. He knows that mass recall is going to be an option. It hasn't been used yet, and the mutas are going to get it, but that's because WELMU is pinning his hopes on trying to take apart this layer. It looks like, though, the Zealots have been distracted by the thought of drones, and the layer isn't going to go down either. I'd say slightly botched, unfortunately.
This is a situation where actually you need to focus on something, but those juicy drones were just too tempting for those Zealots. They wanted the glory. They wanted to be able to die knowing that they killed off 2, 3, 4 drones each, and unfortunately, the glory got in the way of their success, and now TLO with those mutas coming across, will WELMU be able to hold, because he's got those 12 Stalkers.
Yeah, a moment of indecision, unfortunately, for WELMU cost him dearly there. He could have just warped back to main base immediately with that mass recall, or he could have sacrificed the Mothership Core to kill off the lair. Either one of those decisions would have been okay, but sadly he chose the middle ground, and that really did not benefit him at all. TLO now has complete map control with his Mutalist. He is hunting around for an opening outside the natural expansion. 76 to 77 supply, with the worker supply 5 ahead for WELMU right now.
And that's the thing I was going to touch on, Jorasar, is that even though TLO held that push off well, he's still on equal basis. He doesn't have his third even started yet, and that means that WELMU is actually in an okay spot, getting the Dark Shrine out as well, ready for the Archons. His Blink is about to complete, so really putting together everything he needs to deal with these mutas, but TLO just producing, and now focusing down that Twilight Council, but unfortunately Blink is already finished.
It has indeed, and it looks like he is going to get the Twilight Council, but look, there we go. If he didn't reveal before that Blink was there, he does now, and a lot of mutas going down there in that little pack. TLO with 9 left there. And no, like you said, I think the lack of that third base must be really troubling as the DC now moves in towards an actual expansion of our Zerg player, and immediately gives the G. Oh my